All right, let's talk about Shaun the Sheep. Um, I don't talk about this enough on the channel. Well, I don't talk about a couple things I'm going to say right now. Uh, I am a huge Aardman fan, which is the British animation studio best known for Shaun the Sheep, Wallace and Gromit, and Chicken Run. I don't talk about their stuff enough because, unfortunately, in the last couple of years, they don't make a lot of movies that release in theaters and get talked about in the stretch of things because, well, they had to deal with DreamWorks that fell apart. They had to distribute some of their films in the U.S. They had to deal with Universal to distribute some of their films in the U.S. And all those things over time fell apart. And so we've kind of been in this awkward stage where they were releasing films that started bombing really bad, and then finally they made a deal with Netflix to release films, and they did the Wallace and Gromit, Chicken Run 2, a couple other things, and we are now getting another Shaun the Sheep movie in the theater after the last one just went straight to Netflix, and I'm very excited about this and very happy about this, so I wanted to do some Shaun the Sheep reviews. Right, this video is just going to be me talking about the series. The next one will be one of the longer specials that they did, the Farmer's Llamas. And I will also review the Flight Before Christmas, probably around Christmas time. But I am going to review the two other movies after this video. Felt natural to review the series first, because if that's kind of the origin of everything, though if you really want to get technical, Shaun the Sheep is a character that first appeared in Wallace and Gromit. But, I'm not going to tackle the Wallace and Gromit stuff here. I already did that. This show is essentially, basically what this show is the premise of this show is it's animated stop motion shorts with the farmer who runs this farm, his dog watches over the sheep, and hijinks ensue. Basically, Shaun tries to do Shaun and the other animals, like occasionally there's pigs, sometimes there's bird characters that pop up, but most of the time it's just the sheep and the dog all doing stuff before they get caught by the farmer. And it could range all over the place. This is really a show that I'd watched these with my grandma. She lives about 2 hours from me, and during the summer months I'd go on vacation and we would watch her old DVDs. Now I'm fortunate now that they have a beautiful Blu-ray set, and this does not include everything anymore. Season 7 came out last year after this set came out, and so they're putting that out in September, so I'll get that. But for the most part, this has everything except for that and the movies. Anyways, they have it all on Blu-ray now, so that's really great. I've been able to kind of watch even more of these because the ones that she had weren't really like season sets or anything. They were just compilation DVDs of all the Shaun the Sheep stuff. And we would watch those over and over again. So I was very familiar with certain ones, and they were definitely like nostalgic flashbacks. Like, oh, I remember this one. I remember that one. Also, these used to air on TV every once in a while in the U.S. early in the mornings before we go to school. So sometimes we'd watch some of these. And these were really wonderful shorts. Shaun the Sheep didn't really catch on in America, unfortunately, despite it coming from Wallace and Gromit and that really catching on. I think a lot of it has to do with this show being very silent. I think if this show had come out in the modern era and they'd use like TikTok and Instagram or YouTube to kind of post shorts of these things, maybe they would blow up. And I kind of think that's maybe why they're doing the theatrical thing, because I think maybe they're trying again because they're trying to like push that. But it was really great rewatching these because the imagination and life in these things is crazy. You could have an episode where Shaun switches brains with the cat in the first episode, or not in the first episode, one of the episodes, and you see Shaun in the cat's body and them kind of doing different shenanigans with that. You could have one where the big fat sheep, Shirley, they try to help him lose weight by working out, and then he gets re-fat again by the end of the episode. Or you get ones where like Shaun ends up meeting this lady sheep, and they fall in love, and that's the whole thing. Whatever it is, it could be all these different things. You never really know what they would get into, but they were also so imaginative and well realized. It's great, and there's no dialogue in this show, in these shorts. Like, they're just all really wonderful shorts, so you can just watch a ton of them, and it's all visual. And the animation in this show is gorgeous, and this really is one of those things. Shaun the Sheep, Wallace and Gromit, Nightmare Before Christmas made me fascinated with stop motion. I remember watching this. We watched those Shaun the Sheep DVDs so much that we get to a point where after the episodes were done, it'd play the special features, and we'd watch the special features, and they would talk about how, like, it'd take a whole day of shooting the dog licking the lollipop just to get a minute of frame of him licking a lollipop, which is crazy to think about. But just this insane technical animation, and this isn't even some of the most complicated stop motion, but just made me really appreciate the medium of stop motion and how clever and unique and weird it could be, while also being very simple. So if you've never seen Shaun the Sheep in these shorts, I mean, this set runs about $40. It's a 6-disc set. There's 6 seasons on here. Lots of special features in here. Well, not a lot, but there's a decent amount. And yeah, these are really wonderful. And yeah, I'm really excited to revisit that movie and talk about that with you guys. But very, very much a Shaun the Sheep fanatic, I guess you could say. It's truly wonderful, and I'm glad I was able to share one of my passions that I don't get to talk about enough with you guys. And I hope to do more of this kind of stuff, but I try to tie it into new current things, because sometimes people don't care about what weird niche thing I'm into, but it happens.